champions. 3 different eras. 1 legendary team. Driver, Dodson, Kramer. Exclusively on InsideTheHuddle.tv. Now, from the Mason Street Grill, here's your host, Dennis Krause.
Welcome to the historic Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee in the Mason Street Grill. I'm Dennis Krause of Time Warner Cable Sports 32, joined by 3 eras of Super Bowl champions for the Green Bay Packers. Donald Driver from Super Bowl 45, Santana Dotson from Super Bowl 31, Jerry Kramer from Super Bowls 1 and 2. What a pleasure to be with you, gentlemen, and thanks for the time. Let's start with you, Donald. The moment you won the Super Bowl, what was that feeling like?
Numbing. You know, this is the ultimate milestone for a guy that wants to play in the National Football League, and for me to reach that final milestone, it was amazing. So after the last whistle, that confetti start falling, that's when your body just go numb, because now you know that you're Super Bowl champs.
Your moment came in Arlington, Texas. Yours came in New Orleans. What was that feeling like?
It was outstanding. You know, like Donald said, you get a feeling of accomplishment, of job well done, the brotherhood or the fraternity of the guys that are on the field there at that time, and you were able to complete that task. And it's a feeling of, the ultimate feeling of completion, you know. And I remember thinking about that whole night, which I never went to sleep, you know, enjoying it with the teammates, enjoying it with your family and everybody else. As the sun came up, in my mind I was like, okay, so what's next? Try to get up and do it all over again.
Jerry, Super Bowl 1, the very first Super Bowl, AFL against the NFL in Los Angeles in the big Coliseum with some empty seats. Super Bowl 2 then in Miami, Vince Lombardi's last game as coach of the Packers. What do you remember about the feeling of winning those 2?
Satisfaction probably was the biggest word for me. The Super Bowl wasn't that big. You mentioned 10,000 empty seats at Super Bowl 1. And we really didn't realize the Super Bowl was going to ever be as big as it is. It was another game. It was a championship game against what we considered an inferior league. There was a lot of animosity between the AFL and the NFL at that time. And Coach Lombardi had a great deal of pressure from some of the owners in the NFL, not only to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but beat them badly if he could. I remember Frank Gifford was telling me years later that he was doing an interview with Coach Lombardi. He put his hand on his shoulder, and there were 2 television networks broadcasting the game. And Giff was pretty cool, and he's a pretty cool guy. And he said, I was okay, I was pretty cool. I put my hand on Lombardi's shoulder, and he's shaking like a leaf. So I got nervous. So it was a good game and a satisfying game, but it wasn't really a huge thing. You know, it was a championship, and we had to go one extra step that year to win our championship. So the next year in Florida was pretty much the same. It was a job well done. We played the Rams in the playoff game prior to the Ice Bowl against the Cowboys in Green Bay, and then the Super Bowl was, okay, we got one more to go. Really, our championship was against the Cowboys in Green Bay. And the biggest thing about Super Bowl II was Coach Lombardi's retirement and the fact that he said, this may be our last game together. And the reason I gave him a ride along with Forrest Gregg off the field, because he had said that this was his last game with us as a team. So it was a great memory and a satisfying game. Played well, played hard. We played very professionally, but not with a great deal of emotion.
3 Super Bowl champions. 3 different eras. 1 legendary team.